that. Nothing we're going to be doing here tonight for the little guy is going to be honorable in any way. But I can say that I'm excited about it. Are you excited, PA? He's thrilled.
That's as excited as he gets.
So I got to start off by saying, in classic PA fashion, this is a pretty selfish night. It's actually my birthday today. I swear, it's my birthday. It was PA's birthday yesterday, so over with, obviously. But selfish guy that he is, he's calling me down here to come from Chicago, travel a couple 100 miles to talk for him. So that's great, PA. About 2 or 3 weeks ago, I got a call from my mom. I was walking from work to the gym, and she said, "Hey, are you free your birthday weekend?" And I said, "I mean, not really, but what do I?" And she said, "Well, PA's going to have a party for his 66th birthday." And I said, "Okay, so should I come home?" And she said, "Well, he wants you to do a roast of him." I said, "Jesus, a roast of him? Okay, this is, now we're talking." Literally the first thing I thought, I swear, you can ask her, I said this, I said, "It's so funny you asked that, because I've always wanted to say a few words at PA's funeral." I've legitimately thought to myself, I would love to say a few words at PA's funeral, and I thought that I would get invited to probably that before I got invited to PA's birthday party. So this is just a win-win situation for us both. He's alive, I get to make fun of him in front of his face. This is just a great experience for everyone, I hope. So I hope we all have some fun. Everyone is welcome, not only welcome, encouraged to come up here and say a few words after I do tonight. PA needs a glass of wine, so someone get the guy a drink. So, like I said, anyone that wants to come up here and say a few words, I know that I've had a couple people say they wanted to say something. We would love to have you come up here. So I'm going to talk briefly, say some really nice things about PA. They're not going to be nice; they'll be truthful. So the way that I'm going to do that is we're going to use an acronym to basically describe PA, and that acronym we're going to use is SWEDE. We all know PA is Swedish. He's probably told you a million times. He's told you about Sweden and every day, I'm sure. You've probably lived his life in Sweden, as I have. I've known him for 20 years. My name's Kent Winningham, by the way. I don't even think I told all of you. Not that that's important, but I've known the guy for 20 years. Love him to death, but I'm not here to love him. I'm here to hate him tonight. So the first word, so S, we're going to start with S for Swede. The first, there's actually 2 words that go along with S here. And those, the first one is something that he really hates. It really goes with him, but he hates it so much. And the second one defines it. So the first one we're going to say is sloppy. And if you know PA, he hates anything that's sloppy. Sloppy footwork, sloppy technique, sloppy organization. He has, I don't know if he still has those binders that you guys all have. Does he have those?
Yes.
Right, yeah, right. Sloppy anything, he hates it. And I think there's nothing more indicative of this that kind of represents this in my second lesson with PA. I was 6 years old, so I'm, in kindergarten? And, PA does this whole thing. I brought my VHS tape. This is back in the day, so you guys don't have VHS tapes anymore. But brought my tape. We're supposed to go through technique, and I hit some forehands, backhands. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm 6. It's like I barely play tennis. And we go to look at my technique and whatnot, and PA just starts drilling me. Circling my feet, my hips, my shoulders, writing God knows what on that screen. And he's like, "It's just so sloppy. How you so sloppy? Huh? How do you get so sloppy? What?" And I'm 6 years old. How do I get so sloppy? I'm 6. I'm gonna go to kindergarten in an hour to finger paint. And, I'm gonna get a Happy Meal at McDonald's on the way and play with a toy and be ecstatic about it. So why am I so sloppy? Probably because I'm 6 years old. So when he's saying, "Yeah, this is how do you do this?" I don't know. I'm 6. So I'm sure that all of you guys have had that experience with PA. It's not just myself, but he hates sloppy people. And he hates sloppy people in the way of really not being in shape. Would you agree with that, PA? Yeah, you're not into that. And when I was a little bit younger, I was a little chubbier. I was a chunky guy. It took me a while to grow into my body. And PA would ask me what my favorite food was. and I told him that my favorite food was, like any good American, biscuits and gravy. And he just had a field day with that. So probably for about 8, 9 years, you know, he'd call me Biscuit Boy. And so every single time he'd see me, I know it's Biscuit Boy. And I went to his house with Debbie, who made a great meal with my girlfriend, and my parents were there. And yeah, Biscuit's here with his girlfriend, and clearly it didn't last long. And I think that this is kind of, that's who PA is. He, you know, if you're not in shape, he's not going to have the time of day for you. But that's also, I think, is we have to call PA out a little bit for being a hypocrite, because for someone that hates giant, extra large this drink, extra large that, whatever, the American food system, he hates it. The guy takes down like 27 lattes a day, and they're all about that big. So, and he lives on them. So, for someone that hates the American system and how big American food is, he sure takes advantage of it. And the second S word, this one defines him, is snob. We all know that PA is a total snob. I mean, he eats at the nicest restaurants, only the nicest restaurants. If you go to a fast food joint, he actually thinks less of you as a human being. He truly thinks that you are a deplorable person. I think he thinks less of you. And I think the best way that this is shown is in his parking spots. I don't know if you guys saw, but PA parks his, you all probably play with him right now. No, he parks his car behind, right back here, right, PA? Right back here behind the court. So parking spots they're not, there you go, that's good. He doesn't feel like he has the need to adhere to parking spots, and he hasn't for years. He had his BMW, his Jaguar, his Porsche, all of the above, and parks it wherever the hell he wants. Whether that be behind the mini tennis courts at North Central, or I guess behind this court, he has his field day with it. So he is a little bit of a snob. Not a little bit, a lot of it. So the next word is W, the letter, and we're going to say that PA is willful. I think we could all agree that PA is very willful. I don't really mean that in a positive sense. I mean it in the way that it's defined here. I've actually had the definition, and I think that you guys will agree that this is pretty much who PA is. Okay, so it's having or showing a stubborn and determined intention to do as one wants, regardless of the consequences or effects. And here's some synonyms. I did not come up with the synonyms. These are synonyms I found online. You may or may not think that these are characteristic of a PA. I think they might be. Headstrong, obstinate, stubborn, pig-headed. Again, I didn't come up with these. Recalcitrant, uncooperative, ungovernable, unmanageable. And Debbie, I don't know how she's put up with this guy for so many years, but she has. And I think one way that we can see this stubbornness play out in real life is the guy's only used about 6 tennis courts to teach on in his entire life. We've got this one, I don't even know what court that is. He uses that one. Nine. And then I think it's court 8 inside, right? And then court 1 at North Central, court 1 at East, and court 1 at Dean. And otherwise, we got nothing. So, and it's his way or the highway. If you step on that court, what are you doing? This is my court. Get out of here, guy. And that's happened to me a couple times. Also, PA refuses to cancel lessons. So if it could be pouring rain outside, you know, you're soaking wet, the guy will just feed ball, and you know, I'm about to fall on my face. It's pouring rain. You know, let's go inside. And nah, you'll find. Come on. And right, I guess we're gonna continue this. And the thing that he always did was to compare that, you know, us playing in the rain or whatever these conditions were to Sweden. He always said, no, we were in Stockholm, we played in the snow, and you know, we didn't have shoes on, and we didn't even have rackets, and you know, we play when and even nets were court. We would just shadow tennis each other. Like, no, you didn't. You know, kids were, the earth was falling in, and kids were falling in the core of the earth, and we were still playing. So the lies got more elaborate over the years, but you know, but it didn't go both ways, because you know, PA would say, you know, if you know, whoever he was teaching was, hey, let's go inside or do this and that. It's like, no. But if vice versa, if he was unhappy with what you were doing, he would just turn off the lights. He doesn't do that anymore. You guys have a different PA than I had. But if he was unhappy, if he was pissed at you for not trying hard enough or just not playing well enough, he would literally turn off the lights at East Club and tell you to go home. East Club's not in the nicest area of town, so if you're just walking around, if you want to go roller skating, I guess you can go next door. Except that closed due to some stabbings a few years ago. Or you could just walk home. So I think that kind of demonstrates the stubbornness that we all have come to know about PA. So the first E is ego. So I think it's PA prides himself on hating people that, you know, all they talk about is money, or they're just arrogant, and he despises those people, actually. But he himself has quite the ego. we all know that. And I think the first way that I've always found this was that if some of you, I'm sure, out there have other coaches that you hit with, do other things with, when you come back to PA with advice from those other coaches, it's like those coaches are living on another planet. You know, it's like, nah, they're the idiot. They don't know what they're talking about. Come on, you know that guy. Like, well, PA told me to maybe come over the ball a little bit more with my forehand. Nah, come on, you know that guy. He's too dumb. So, PA thinks every other coach is just an outrageous human being. It's his way, you know? I mean, the guy, for God's sake, has the PA system. I mean, his shirts that he was handing out tonight, I just saw him handing out shirts. Oh, you should have, there we go, right, do the Trimbles. Here, have a PA system shirt. You should get one to Laura. You know, it's got my name on it. It's my system. So, I mean, that says it all right there. I don't have one. Yeah, unfortunately, I have a couple. I think the best way, though, to describe PA's ego is the way he plays matchmaker at North Central when tournaments are going on. So, I don't know if you guys know how there's always like a board of all 30 courts, you know, that has every potential match that's going to go on that court and who's lined up to play those matches. Now, PA, you know, they had a system that Steve Wakefield would run, and you know, it was normal. But PA had his own system, so there'd be some matches that would be going on. They were, you know, no neighbors, I guess. And the court 30, come on. And then if he's, you know, one of his students, court 6. These guys in court 6. Okay, poor kids are like waiting around for 4 hours, and he puts these guys who just got off on court 6. Another match, come on, okay, court 24. And then I got 20, yes, court 27. And so, and then he would also do what he's, actually, that's great, exactly what he's doing right now. PA, whenever he would watch matches, he'd always sit behind court 6 at North Central, always. And he has this pose about him that's like he's on a throne. That's, you know, only like you will, if I need to talk to you, I will summon you here to my throne. Otherwise, you will not be speaking to me. And he stands there. I almost got scared sometimes because he literally didn't move for hours and hours. And he just sits there, just like he's sitting now. With his bucket hat, this little stupid bucket hat. He doesn't move, and it gets a little frightening. One more time, okay. Is this about right, Gay? I think that's about right. Okay. So that's how I always envision the statue, King PA behind court 6. And then D. D, I'm going to say, stands for Djurgården. Yeah, okay. So Djurgården is a Swedish sports club. PA's obsessed with it, just like he is about Sweden. And full disclosure here, it pains me to say this, because PA's a little obnoxious about Sweden, how tremendous it is. I actually studied abroad in Stockholm, and PA and Debbie visited me. We had an awesome time, but it's my favorite city I've ever been to, favorite country I've ever been to. You have to go. So it actually pains me to say that because he's so annoying about it. But so gonna give you full disclosure there about my love for Sweden. It's hard to say. But anyways, so Djurgården, PA thinks, we all know PA thinks that Sweden is God's gift to Earth, and that basically the United States in every way, shape, or form pales in comparison, right? We've heard that day in and day out. And I always grew up thinking that Sweden was this mythical land where people, like, everyone ate like they were a dietitian and like grew up with nothing but like worked so hard, and they ended up being, you know, making something out of themselves because they grew up with nothing, but they had such good work ethic. And I've come here to debunk PA's myths. So I studied abroad there. First of all, PA's got to be the smallest guy in the entire country. These people are giants. Like, they are like, the average height is like 6 foot for a guy, 5'8" for a girl, and these people are huge. So PA's looking up at a lot of people. And I've never been to a country where they love McDonald's so much. I swear, in Stockholm, they live on it. They love it. I went to McDonald's a couple times with his best friend Svante Malmsten and his godsons several times actually. And they love it. So I've never been somewhere where people are so enthralled with McDonald's. So there's that one. So not everyone needs help. Also, that everyone grew up with nothing and blah blah blah. PA's. I walked around PA's areas with him and where he grew up and where he played tennis. He played at some gorgeous clubs. One club, which is like the oldest club in Northern Europe. Where he played out of Nilhagen was beautiful. The Royal Tennis Club, where he played some tournaments. I mean, it's the most gorgeous tennis club I've ever seen in my entire life. So if we're gonna make that comparison to IRC East, I mean, we're comparing Paris to Gary, Indiana here. So let's not get ourselves confused here, okay? And then finally, that everyone works hard and has the best work ethic you've ever seen. I went to a U-Gordon soccer match with PA, so they have hockey team, soccer team, bandy team, which is a Swedish sport, all the above, and they're great. A lot of them produce NHL hockey players, etc. So PA and I went to a U-Gordon football match, and PA knew, you know, all the chants and the cheers that all the hooligans do, obviously, but some of these guys, they literally, all they do is they go to the soccer match, they go to the hockey games, the bandy matches, and that's all they do. That's literally all they do. These hooligans. And to me, PA was encouraging these people, and he loved them. So not everyone is just working day in, day out, 25 hours a day like he does. In fact, a lot of them are just drinking and watching sports all day. So it's just not true at all. And then finally, the second E, we're going to say stands for elderly. So for some of you out there that might think I'm being harsh, 66 isn't that old. Well, it is. You're before yourself. So, and PA, whether you like it or not, now I'm going to now refer to you as elderly, and I'm going to treat you like that. So I'm not going to carry things for you. I'm not going to do chores for you. But when you start forgetting things, I'm going to take advantage of that, and I'm going to confuse the hell out of you for the rest of your life. So, that's all I got. I know that my dad and Mr. Trimble wanted to say something, so with that said, I do love this man to death. He's one of my favorite people in the world. There's no one more honest than him. There's no one that has better morals and better work ethic that I've ever met in my entire life. He's one of my best friends, and I love him. So.